I want to welcome everyone to Series 1 of Success Secrets. I'm really glad to have you here and really glad to be facilitating this particular series for primarily women in business. Um, Someone asked me a great question yesterday. Why did I put this particular series together? And I thought, great question. Why haven't I answered that for them? So I would just want to say that the reason I put this together is there's so much power and there's so much knowledge out there from real women in business who have walked the walk, who have, yes, success stories, but they have struggle stories too. And the magic is often in the struggle that leads to the success. So I picked a group of women who are very heart-centered, who are going to be real with you, be honest. This isn't all about coming on and talking about the highlight reel because that just doesn't really help you. We're all stuck or struggling in one of a couple of different ways. There's so many similarities and so many commonalities in where we get stuck and what holds us back. And so I hope that I have been able to put together a group that's well-rounded enough that you'll be able to hear yourself or see yourself in their stories and have some aha moments where you think, that's what I'm doing to myself. Because this lack of success or lack of being where we want to be really kind of boils down to self-sabotage. And we do that in a number of ways. That's a whole nother topic, self-sabotaging. Um, but that's why I put it together. And that's what I hope that you get from it. These women are volunteering their time. They're not paid to do this. They just wanted to come on and share what they've learned with a wider part of our industry, the direct selling industry, beyond their teams. And so that just tells you how heart-centered and how giving they are. So you've got five wonderful people to hear from after me, and that gives us a total of 6 weeks that we'll be talking about success. So that's why I created the workshop. I can't wait to introduce you to the other five speakers, and we have an event for each one of them, and we'll do bios and tell you more about them and where they came from after we get done here. But just really five really great leaders and so many great leaders and great people watching this series. The willingness to grow and the curiosity about growth is one of and truthfully, the secrets to success. So congratulations for you on taking time out, on being here and taking advantage of this growth opportunity that's just kind of been put before you. Thousands of people are not here, right? Because they couldn't find time, didn't have time, whatever. They didn't see the value in it. They're too busy being busy to maybe take a step back and sharpen their axe. So I hope to sharpen your axe a little bit today so that you can be more effective and more efficient in what you're doing. So that's why I created the series. And then I'll tell you a little bit about my own success journey and my struggle journey too. I grew up as a child very perfectionistic. I did not have a lot of support, and being wrong could be fatal. But being wrong was just one of the most difficult things, I guess. My father was a very perfectionistic too. He was brilliant in math. He was a brilliant musician. A lot of things came very easy to him. So it was very easy to disappoint him as a child. So I grew up believing that life was pass, fail, black, white, right, wrong. There was no gray in there for me. So I either succeeded, and if I didn't succeed, then of course I failed. I never understood until years later that in the middle is the learning, and that's where the lessons happen. Failure is the greatest teacher in the world. Success teaches you nothing. It's the failure where you learn what you're made of, what you can do, when you can push through. Um, every great lesson I've ever learned has been in the low moments. So as that perfectionistic child, believing that everything was either a pass or a fail, it held me back from a lot of things, trying a lot of new things. I remember in the eighth grade, I went to a very small private Catholic school. And so our eighth grade graduating class had, I don't know, 50 people in it. There was probably 25 girls. And everyone at the end of seventh grade tried out for eighth grade cheerleading. Everyone tried out, except for guess who? Me and a girl who was moving to another state. So we sat outside and watched everybody try out. Now, why didn't I try out? Because I was afraid I wouldn't make it. And then I would be embarrassed to be one of the few people that didn't make it, that wasn't picked. Um, And I didn't know, I wasn't conditioned to deal with failure at all because, again, no one, I didn't have a lot of great mentorship around me as a child. I had some great teachers, thank goodness, but not a lot of great mentorship. And so no one ever explained to me, Michelle, failing is fine. There is no fail. Trying, failing to try is a failure, right? But as long as you're trying, there's growth there. So try everything, even if you're bad at it, try it. Nobody said that to me. And so in my mind, I either knew that I could make that cheerleading squad or I wouldn't try at all. And I didn't try at all. And guess what? I ended up a motivational speaker. So the story obviously gets better from there. And it was interesting. Everyone who tried out made it or was an alternate. And the teachers later were like, why didn't you try out? You would have made it. Well, no one told me that, right? That would have been good information to have like yesterday or something. But that fear stopped me before I even got started. So there's one of the success secrets. Don't let fear stop you before you even start. And I see this so much in people. They procrastinate because they want the perfect plan, the perfect home event layout, the perfect speech, the perfect business card, the perfect whatever. And so they spend all of this time getting ready to get ready. And it's really just fear holding them back. So they waste all of that time that they could be learning and failing forward and growing and gaining ground trying to be perfect and get it right. And they do things like, well, I have to know everything about all of our products before I can say anything. I have to know everything in case someone asks me a question that I don't know the answer to. I don't know. Let me check on that for you. Is a perfectly permissible answer to any question anyone ever asks you. Oh, that's a great question. I hadn't thought of that. You know what? I'll look that up and get an answer for you and give you a call back. How's that? Right? Nobody died. The ground didn't and swallow me whole. Oh, I'm getting messages. Jennifer Hunsucker says, stepping on my toes already. So, yeah, if this is resonating with you, let me hear from you in the chat. This is a lot of us when we are raised to be people pleasers as women primarily, and a lot of us are raised to be perfectionistic. We're taught it in our school system to be quiet and organized, right? Otherwise, it would be anarchy. And some of our parents come from a very controlled and organized place, and we may not be. We may be butterflies that just want to bounce around the room and have some fun. And that energy, you can build a huge business on energy and enthusiasm. It doesn't always have to be organized, but sometimes this organization, it really is a way for us to sabotage ourselves and let fear stop you before you even get started. So, an imperfect plan executed, it means a perfect plan that's never executed. So, take some action. If you're feeling stuck, this is probably why you're feeling stuck, is you're trying to make it better before you can get started. So that's what I learned from cheerleading. I also loved soccer as a child. It was one of my favorite sports I played during grade school. And in the seventh and eighth grade, it was deemed unladylike for girls to play sports. So there was no seventh or eighth grade girls' team. And of course, you couldn't play soccer with the boys. I mean, we might as well engage in mixed bathing, for goodness sake. So I didn't play soccer for 2 years. My family didn't have the money for me to be on a travel soccer team. And I didn't really have a lot of opportunity to play with my best friend's brothers in the backyard a little bit. But I, wasn't playing soccer a couple of games a week and a couple of practices a week. So I was so excited to get to high school where there was girls soccer. And the first couple of practices were really daunting. And what I realized was I had lost 2 years of really important time in physical conditioning and strength training. These girls all played travel soccer. So they were, they had been practicing all of this time where I had been waiting. They had been practicing and playing the game. Oh, that just got to me. So it was also a very different game with sixth grade girls and ninth grade girls. These girls was mean, y'all. I'm not even kidding. They would body check you, they would trip you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on here? So not only was I physically behind, but I was kind of mentally behind in the game and how the game is played at a high school level because I hadn't been playing. So I went to a couple of practices, 3 or 4 practices. The running alone was killing me because they just run you to death in soccer because that's the whole sport basically is running and maybe you kick the ball from time to time. And I went to the coach and the girls were kind of aggressive, really aggressive. And so I didn't feel like I was clicking with anyone and just wasn't fitting in. And I went to the coach and I said, I think I'm going to quit. I'm not getting this. I'm too behind. The girls don't like me. So I'm just going to quit. So this thing that I loved just so much, I quit because I was afraid that I was failing at it. And instead of that coach saying, Michelle, you can do this. Look, you've been out of the game for a little bit. Let's put you on a running program. Let me, come a half hour early and let me do some drills with you and stuff. And that's what a coach should do. That's not what this coach did. He said, okay, fine. I learned, or as I look back on that, I realized that I could have absolutely played soccer. Instead, I let my struggle or it being difficult equal inability in my mind. And so because it was hard, I was incapable of doing it. But that was my takeaway was if it's hard, you're not capable of it. And actually the opposite is true. The things that are difficult for us at first, we can become great at. And they're some of the sweetest lessons and the sweetest skills that we ever learn because we had to struggle and work and fight to accomplish them, right? But the coach didn't teach me that. So then I got married and found direct sales, my first real direct selling company. And it was life changing. The first time I went to even a meeting, a local meeting, um, that was a bigger room than I had been in. And they were thinking big thoughts and they had big dreams and they had big goals and they had big visions. Then I went to a conference and it just blew my mind. I was absolutely addicted because I came from people who didn't have a lot of aspirations in life. You should bow your head and be thankful for what you have, and it's ungrateful to God for you to want any more, right? So it's a very confusing story to be told because you think, oh, I'm just supposed to live with what I have, not want anything more than I have, not work to have more than I have. So it's a very confusing lesson, learning lesson to grow up with, I will say. So I found direct sales, and DS says, forget about all that. Hey, baby, where you came from isn't where you're going. You're in charge of that. You can have all these things. You can have the big house. You can have the big car. You can have the fancy jewelry. Anything that you want. You can pay the bills. You can live a different lifestyle. It's all up to you. It's all within your control. Wow, what a concept. My mind was blown. And it wasn't just about the things, it was about who I could become. These women were poised and they were graceful and they were composed and they looked like fashion plates and they were just had such an energy and such a charisma. And I thought, gosh, I want to be one of those women one day. How do I start? You sign me up. So I did, and direct sales it was a beauty company, Beauty Control back in the day. If anybody on is a beauty controller, gosh, it just taught me so much, and it really changed the perspective that I had about the world. I went to college for a reason because I knew that my life could be more than the life that I came from, but I never saw it in pictures that big and I never saw it as a total transformation. I saw it as making more money and living better and whatever. My degree is interior design if anybody's interested. Um, so that expanded my vision and my belief in what was possible. So there's a success secret for you. It all lies in your vision, what you see for yourself. And if you're thinking small and you're playing small ball, you're going to get small results every time, right? You're not going to make huge misses because you're not taking huge swings at this thing we call life. I think that's one of the greatest gifts of the direct selling industry in a good company is they teach you so much about life and yourself and success. So your vision is huge and you need to be in big rooms with big people who expand your vision. And I hope to get to do that for you over the next 6 weeks, seven. We're actually skipping July 4th week. So I had a lot of setbacks along the way. I didn't, again, have great mentorship. It seems like I'm always put in a position where I have great desire, but I don't have great mentorship. So you figure it out. When in doubt, figure it out. I got a lot of skin knees along the way. And that's one of the things that I love doing as a coach and as a speaker and trainer is saving people some of those skinned knees and some of those bruises and some of the hard lessons that I learned along the way. Anyway, so that's one of the great gifts of direct selling is changing that perspective out for me and showing me that there was more to life than what I had ever been shown before. So sorry. Lost my place. So I did struggle and fell down, and I had things that were flops. And, I remember driving. I used to be really nervous to talk in front of people. So there's another way that it grew me just unimaginably. And I remember we did clinics back in the day, beauty clinics. And I remember I would be driving to one, and the whole time I would be praying, Lord, please don't let anybody be there when I get there. Like I'm just terrified of six sets of eyeballs staring at me. It was more than I could deal with. So I did do a lot of those. Went when no one was there, set appointments and no one showed up. Did trade shows that were just terrible flops. There were times that I wanted to give up. There were times that I did. We joke and say I fired myself and then I hired myself back because there are low points, and that's just part of it. If you're not having frustrations, if you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. You're not putting yourself in the path of failure. And when you do put yourself in the path of failure, the success comes as a result. It's like a reward for failing and standing up to that, looking at it and saying, okay, so everything didn't go to plan. What do I do now? Well, now I evaluate it. What worked? What didn't work? What could I have done differently? I'll be doing that after this series is over. What did I do? What worked? What resonated with people? What landed? What can I do differently next time? How do I get more people in the room next time? How do I help touch more lives next time? Do I need to change the lineup any, right? We evaluate everything, and that's how we get better, but we can't evaluate things if we don't ever take any action to begin with. So that's why we've got to try. Even if we're scared, we have to try anyway. Be afraid, be not, don't be afraid to fail. Be afraid not to try. And I think in my field career, really the first time I ever earned anything of significance is this London blue topaz. I don't know if you can make that out. But anyway, it was a recognition gift. It was a 60-day program. And I think this was, I don't know, like gift 4 out of 9 or something. There was also a pair of earrings and a necklace that I really, really wanted. I'd never earned anything like that from a major contest in my life. So I wasn't really sure that I could actually really do that. So I kind of created this concept of, my dream goal. That would have been the whole jewelry set. And then like my midline fallback would have been the ring and whatever else. I think it was the ring and the earrings were the second thing. But I won't settle for less was the ring. And when I started saying to myself, I won't settle for less than this, not I'm going to try this or I'm going to work on this or I hope I get this. I will not settle for less than this. When you make that commitment out loud, everybody's muted. I just want you to say that to yourself out loud. People will think you're crazy, but say, I will not settle for less than this. There's a power that you feel in your chest, isn't there? When you say that out loud, you can even feel a little bit shaky, like, ooh, I've never said that before. That's kind of scary. All right. No one's on video, so I don't know who really did it. But later, if you didn't do it now, say that. Say it loud. Go in your bathroom. Say it about 3 times. Your chest will start to vibrate. And think of something that you want in your business. It is powerful. So I did get this. Didn't get anything else, but I exceeded the goals to get this. So that was the first thing. So then the next thing, success is built on successes. We need the proof in the pudding to build on it, which is another thing. If you never go after anything hard, you're never going to get that conclusive evidence that, yes, I can do this. And if I can do this, I can do this probably, right? So we build on it. So the next one, I went all the way, earned all of the gifts and the trip too. Huh, how fun. I think I might have earned that trip from my husband and myself because I was like, I did that. I only have to do 4 times this to get there. I know what I'm doing. Now I know how to do it. So now my won't settle for less than was the trip the next time through. What I really wanted was the trip for my husband and I believe. I think that was the Doral golf trip, and he was a big golfer. But anyway, I won't settle for less. And that builds from small goals. And you can pick something small. If you're young in your business, you just started, you're struggling, you're making no money, then your won't settle for less is, if I wish I was, I need to be making $500 a month. Okay, I won't settle for less than 250 or 150 or whatever. And guys, if you can't figure out how to get here from where you are, I'm offering you a free 30-minute, 45-minute, just a strategy call. Nothing breaks my heart more than people who are struggling, who want it so bad, and they don't have the right mentorship around them. I have been there so many times. It's almost like God allowed me to have those experiences to make me a better coach so that I had that experience so that I never want anyone to have that experience. So if you're frustrated, take me up on this call. There's no catch to it. I'm not going to try and talk you into anything. This is my gift to you for all the times that I didn't have the mentorship that I needed. I remember sitting in conferences and regionals and meetings and people talking from stage about, all their highlight reel, their successes, all the things that they had accomplished. And sometimes these truthful moments, these failures, and then thinking, all you need is the right business plan. And I'm thinking, oh my God, please sit down with me and help me. What's a business plan? What does that look like? So I'd be sitting in the audience so frustrated, thinking, gosh, if I could just talk to them for 15 minutes and ask them about this business plan, everything would change for me, right? So I don't ever want anyone to sit through anything that I'm a part of and be frustrated and think, gosh, if I could only have 20 minutes to understand this plan or whatever. Honey, you've got the 20 minutes. Take me up on it. All right. So this was the first real thing that I ever earned, and it helped me go on to earn all kinds of other things. We don't win things in direct sales. We bust our butts for them, y'all. Um, and there's still failures along the way. I remember a clinic, a party or whatever that I did, that I drove like an hour and a half away. I had to pay a babysitter for it. I got there. It was terrible. I made 35 whole dollars, right? How frustrating. You can imagine my frustration. All this for $35. It doesn't even cover the, gas and the babysitter. Well, then I locked my keys in my car. Guess how much the locksmith was? $35. Yeah, y'all got it. It's right. So you have times like that where you think, forget it, man. This is not worth it. I can't do this anymore. I'm just going to go get a real job, right? Like everybody else says. Here's the thing. I was booked up. I went and did the next one. The next one was $1,200. You're going to have lousy events. You're going to have lousy one-on-ones. You're going to have lousy open houses. Things aren't going to always go to plan. What did you learn? What I learned with that $35 one was that my hostess was very young. I needed to have been more involved in her planning process. Um, and I really should have ensured that she had the 4 outside orders. That's what I always requested people to do. And then I wouldn't have had like a net event where I had to pay for a babysitter and gas. So even when we lose, we win because we learn the lesson, and the lessons are what build your success and your greatness. And no matter how much you win and how much you learn, we all still struggle with the fear of failure, no matter what. I still to this day do it. I get a little anxious. I spoke for a group kind of out of my wheelhouse a couple of weeks ago, and I was really nervous that everything wouldn't transfer over to them. They manufacture car washes. What do I know about car washes? Nothing. But sales is sales is sales. I put my Michelle Archer hat on and I went and did it. And it was really great. So, and I learned those lessons from this industry. I learned that lesson from a huge incentive that I was chasing, which was a red Mustang convertible with the title, yours to keep. And I wanted that car bad. My favorite car in the world is a 64 and a half Mustang, the original. And this was the 40th anniversary edition of the 65 and a half, 64 and a half. It was like kismet. So I was really, really excited about it. I told my liaison at corporate all about it. And he's like, oh, we've got a regional meeting coming up. You got to talk about this Mustang program. I'm like, oh, I'd love to. I'm so excited. And we hung up the phone and I'm like, I'm so honored to be asked. I'm so excited about that. That car, and this was my attitude, that car is mine. My car is sitting in a parking lot somewhere. All I have to do is go claim it. Whatever you want in your life, in your business, it's waiting for you in a parking lot somewhere or at a store or whatever. It's yours. Your name is on it. You just have to go and get it. So I'm really fired up to talk about this to this group. And then it occurs to me, oh my gosh, Michelle, you're going to have to get up in front of a group of your peers, people that you respect and admire and worship, And you're going to say to them, I'm earning the Mustang, guys. I'm going to be the first person in the state of Tennessee to get one, right? Then the panic started. And then I'm thinking, oh my God, how do I get out of this? Like, I can't do this. What if I don't get it? Everyone will know that I didn't get it because I will have been at this big regional meeting saying how I was going to get it and, just tail spinning. So I thought, oh, okay, I got to calm down. And I went in the bathroom, splashed some water on my face, and I'm just kind of looking in the mirror like this, and I'm drying my face, and I've got tears in my eyes, and I caught sight of myself, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I said, "Oh my gosh, you are worse than a failure. You're a chicken. That's worse than any failure that you could ever have. Is the failure to try to chicken out on something. How many people are offered this opportunity?" So anyway, that car still sits in my driveway. But that was the lesson that I learned is that regret is the real failure. Not having ever gone for that, not ever having that experience, not ever having shown my daughter that experience and the team and other people that yes, you can get this. Yours is sitting there. It has your name on it. Now go, let's go get it, right? Kind of fun to get horribly uncomfortable. There's a success secret for you. Get horribly uncomfortable at least once a day. Pick up the phone and call somebody you're terrified to call. Reach out to someone that you're terrified to reach out to. Send a private message, whatever scares you. Um, Start doing that. I just want to leave you with a fear exercise that is really epiphanal for people. I do this in groups a lot. I'd love you to do this, take a picture, and then come back and post it in the event. But you can just take a post-it note or a piece of paper, whatever you've got, and I want you to write something that you're really afraid of there, or the failure that the thing you're scared of failing, um, and why you're scared. Anything. You fill this page up about your failure and your fear and why you're scared and how you're self-sabotaging yourself. Are you procrastinating? And then I want you to take this outside and just set it on fire safely and just watch it burn. And when you watch all of those words that are holding you back, when you watch the fire, just gobble them up and then they're nothing but ash. It's absolutely liberating for you. And this is an exercise I do all the time. You're never cured, right? We always have things that scare us because we're always playing at a higher level. If we hit this level where everything's smooth and even and we just stay here, what are we doing? We're existing in our comfort zone. We're not growing there at all. So we should be constantly challenged and fearful and scared of failing at something when we're doing bigger things. So I really, really encourage you to spend some time doing that. Don't be surprised if you cry because you're going to let this go. It's a great way to let things go that are holding you back. And then really do post a picture of it on fire. We don't have to see your words back in the event that we're using for this session 1. So that's pretty much what I had to share with y'all. I'll take a few questions. I do want to remind you about discovery calls. You can just send me a message and say, hey, I want one of these calls. I'm stuck. I need a business plan. I can't figure out how to get in front of people. I can't figure out how to get started. I don't even know what that looks like. And we'll just talk through it because I don't want you to walk away thinking, gosh, I really wish she talked about that more. So take me up on that. You can email me, you can message me, you can say in the group, hey, Michelle Archer, I want one of those. And we'll find some time on the calendar, about 30 minutes, usually just a phone call. And then we have got 5 other amazing speakers coming up for you that are going to share their success secrets and some of their struggles, the lowlights, and what they learned and what they have learned on their journey to success. And I think we're never done with that. So I'll be introducing all of those ladies this afternoon in the event. But we have Paula, we have Jessica, we have Shalene, we have Jessie, and I knew I shouldn't have done this because Valerie. Okay, that's who we have coming up for you. So then I'll just pause and we'll take a little Q&A. If anybody has those, you can drop them in the Q&A block, or you can unmute yourself and ask. I think I will go ahead and stop the recording at this point so it doesn't get too long and boring for people. So the recording ends now, but we'll do a little Q&A.